Good. Happy Saturday morning, September 12th, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Saturday morning, so let's begin. First up, let's begin with your COVID-19 updates. First up, 48 new COVID-19 cases, no new deaths reported in New Hampshire. One more Granite Stater hospitalized, health officials say. Health officials reported 48 new positive cases of COVID-19 in New Hampshire on Friday, but no new deaths. Now let's take a look at the coronavirus in New Hampshire. Updated data and information. Let's take a look at that right now. And here is a look at that information for all of you right now. There are 7,620 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 6,431,885 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 434 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 720 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 663 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. Now let's take a look at this current map of New Hampshire, where current cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 46. And let's take a look at this total map of New Hampshire, where total cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 1974. Now let's take a look at this chart here. Let's start with the first chart here. New cases each day in New Hampshire. In the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations. And in the red are the deaths. Let's take a look at this chart here. Current cases in the purple. Current total positive COVID-19 cases in the purple. Current hospitalizations in the orange. Let's take a look at this chart here. Total cases. Total positive COVID-19 cases in the purple. Total hospitalizations in the orange. Red deaths and blue recovered. Now let's take a look at this chart here. Age group of cases. Female and male of cases, and risk information. And let's take a look at this chart here. Infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. And let's take a look at this chart here. Deaths, percent of New Hampshire population, race/ethnicity of cases, and hospitalizations. And a reminder, your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, difficult breathing, chills, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. Police believe grandfather, grandson killed in motorcycle crash with deer. Bodies of two men believed found off Route 4 in Bosquen. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin.
Attention to detail. That's what sets Kubota construction equipment apart. It's how we maximize performance.
The tragic discovery was made Thursday night after a desperate search that spanned days. Absolutely heart-wrenching. The amount of loss that family has experienced this past week is unthinkable. and we stand in solidarity with them right now. On Monday, 69-year-old Jerry Proper and his grandson, 22-year-old Cody Pillsbury, left Newport on a motorcycle. When they didn't return, family reported them missing. In a massive effort, law enforcement and volunteers searched by air and by ground. I personally, in the span of my career, have not seen a search effort of that magnitude. Police pinged Cody's cell phone and worked with other agencies to get a more specific location. Through some partnerships with New Hampshire Fish and Game and the Civil Air Patrol, we were actually able to get even more precise mobile data. That led them to Route 4 in Boscawen, where Cody and Jerry's bodies, as well as their motorcycle, were found in the dense woods. Police believe they hit a deer, then veered off the road. The family is thanking all the law enforcement, volunteers, and resources that were part of the search and say they are overwhelmed by the support. Newport Police are too. As the chief of this organization, I'm absolutely humbled and grateful by the outpouring of support that we received, both from citizens and from our law enforcement partners at the state, local, and federal level. A final cause of death will be released by the medical examiner's office. In Newport, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Yesterday was 9/11, remembering 9/11. Memorial ceremonies to remember victims of September 11 attacks held across New Hampshire. First responders honored for rushing into danger. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Andy Hirschberger.
Protect your home and family for years to come with a new roof from Queen City Roofing. The entire crew takes pride in giving the best customer service. Excellent.
Lieutenant Joseph G. Levy, Lieutenant Charles J. Margiotta.
They took the time to read every name. All 443 of them, men and women, regular people, American heroes. The first responders who died at the World Trade Center on September 11th, 2001.
We know that any of us going to work any day, we put our shoes on, we put our uniforms on, and we truly don't know if we're going to make it home to our families every day.
It was a scaled-back memorial service at the New Hampshire Fire Academy. There were fewer people, masks, and social distancing, all the signs of a new global tragedy that we are facing. In Portsmouth, they also gathered in the shadow of a piece of wreckage from the Twin Towers to remember the dead of 9/11. From New York to Washington to Pennsylvania, this ruthless act of terrorism shattered our nation and brought it together at the same time.
It was the metaphoric rock thrown into the pond that created ripples that to this day still radiate out from the epicenter of that splash, coming to our shores in the form of a 19-year war and the great sacrifice of veterans wounded and killed in action that come with it.
So it's on this day that people in our state remember the past, teach the lessons learned from that day to our youth, and give thanks for those who still choose this line of work and the dangers seen and unseen that come with it.
A sick person today could be somebody with COVID-19. So it's still a risk. Public safety people routinely put themselves at risk for all of us.
God bless all of the departed, and God bless America. Thank you.
Andy Hirschberger, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Woman killed. Second victim stabbed inside Attleboro home. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston.
Jimmy is a boy, saved from leukemia by Dr. Sydney Farber. Jimmy is a girl, a nephew, a husband,
There was a bunch of officers out here, some of them with guns.
Officers swarmed the neighborhood just before 4, arriving to find 2 women in their 20s, both stabbed and bleeding. One of the victims ran from the scene and approached the Attleboro police officer who was happened to be working a detail adjacent to the home. A neighbor says some sort of argument erupted at the home on Leroy Street. Police say 28-year-old Kimberly Dufely was killed, and there was initial confusion when police first arrived. We thought we had 3 victims, ended up being 2 victims, and like I said, there was a lot of people on scene, so we were trying to figure it all out, sort it all out. For hours, police closed down several blocks in the neighborhood as they collected evidence. They say everyone involved knows each other, but the vicious crime is still unsettling for neighbors.
I live next door. It gives you an eerie feeling. It's kind of uncomfortable.
Now, tonight, police say they do have a person of interest, but it's still not clear what led up to this stabbing.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Collins and Gideon meet in first Senate debate. Candidates discuss coronavirus, the court, and the president. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine. Phil.
We know for a fact that patients stayed at home in spite of having symptoms of the heart attack. And when they...
I have said since the beginning that the president's performance has been uneven.
From the first question about coronavirus, Senator Collins was asked to weigh in on her Republican Party's leader, Donald Trump, Gideon repeatedly pressing her to declare whether she supports his re-election.
I want to ask Senator Collins who she thinks should be leading this country. She has neglected to answer that question, and I'd like to give her the opportunity tonight. I think Joe Biden should be our leader.
I don't think that the people of Maine need my advice on whom to support for president.
Collins used her time to promote her signature pandemic legislation, the Paycheck Protection Program.
To help our small businesses stay afloat and provide jobs for their employees. That has helped 28,000 small businesses. That's 3 out of 4.
Democratic Speaker Gideon held out her record in Augusta.
That's why in the State House I worked so hard to bring Republicans, Democrats, and independents together to fight the opioid crisis and save lives.
Both candidates pledged to protect government benefits for seniors.
We have to protect Social Security and Medicare.
I chair the Senate Aging Committee. My mother is 93. I am so offended by these ads that claim that I would cut these programs.
On judicial appointments, Collins said she's applied the same standards no matter who's been president.
In the Supreme Court, I supported 2 of President Obama's, his 2 appointees.
We have seen nominees come from this president that are unqualified and not fit to be judicial nominees. Yet Senator Collins has voted as of this week for 170 of them.
Both Collins and Gideon say they want to debate several more times. In Portland, Phil Hirschkorn, WMTW News 8.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Remembering victims of September 11th. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Finally tonight here, on this 9/11, we pay tribute. Across this country tonight, a nation remembering 9/11. Alice Amsterdam holding an image of fallen firefighter Joseph Patrick Henry. In Shanksville, Pennsylvania, family members of the victims of Flight 93 walking to the crash site. A flag draped over the side of the Pentagon at dawn. Back in New York, first responders, police, firefighters carrying images of the fallen. And on this day every year, we think of so many people we have met, including Florence Jones. We have returned to ground zero with her so many times. Of the last 25 people out of the South Tower, she was number 18. Among the trips with Florence, the year the reflecting pools opened. And we were there with her.
Wow.
She did not make the trip into New York this year because of the pandemic, but she did tell us the first responders during coronavirus have reminded her of the heroism of the first responders after 9/11. She told us, "I appreciate it, that people don't forget. We can't pass this day up and not remember as people and as a country, on top of everything else going on, don't forget this." And we haven't. There was this image I took when the 9/11 museum opened, that symbol of resilience, a 58-ton beam, part of the South Tower, inside the museum. During the recovery effort, that tower, workers left tributes on the column. We honor them, and all who were lost. We do honor the lives lost, the first responders who answered the call, and of course the families still carrying the pain 19 years later. I'm David Muir. Good night.
Hi, everyone. Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this Saturday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.